and who I'm going to be with. But I'm sure there has been situations like that I can't think of at the moment, but I kind of just like, no thanks, I'm good. I'm not going to go out to a bar, I'm not going to put myself in those kind of situations, but.
Well, mine didn't happen in a bar. I was
Right.
just driving and I got a text, and next thing I know, I was off in my own head. Next thing I know, I'm at the store.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wrote a whole blog about, in when I was sober before, and I was trying and I was doing really well. I wasn't really going to meetings, but I was working a lot. Like, I thought that was the answer for me, which is not.
And once you make money, then you won't have these
the
problems. That's
answer.
why you drink, is because you don't have money, because you're.
Yeah, it was not the answer. And I was living in Ann Arbor, and I was working 6 days a week. And I never told my coworkers, always, especially in like the restaurant industry, there's a big drinking and drug situation there. Like, lots of the people, they go out, after work or whatever. And it was always discussed with the people on shift, it was, where are you going to have a drink? It wasn't, are we? It was, where are we going? So, and I just ignored that, for the longest time. I would close and I'd be like, no, I'm tired. I got things to do, blah, blah, blah. And I just put it off as that I was a busy girl, and, no thanks. But then after a while, I was, I said, sure, I'll go. I knew what I was going to, but I never told people that I was in recovery, because I wanted that door to be open. I wanted there to be that opportunity. I didn't want people to question, well, aren't you not drinking, or aren't you not supposed to drink, or is that bad for you, or aren't you going to get in trouble? Or I want people to know my business. But in hindsight, it would have been a good idea, to put it out there. And that's what I do today is, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I'm in recovery. I'm proud of it. It's my lifestyle now, and I choose to be around people that also are in recovery as well. Not everybody. I have friends that aren't in recovery, but I don't go drinking with them, obviously, and they don't ask me to. So
something you talked about, I've never thought about this from a woman's point of view or perspective, and I'm sure it's happened. I'm not saying that this is something that you were thinking about, but I never thought about it like this. But did you ever think that, well, here's what I'll do. I'll hold it together, kind of like that scenario I talked about earlier about, 5 years and then I'll watch football. Did you ever think like, okay, I'll hold it together for however long it takes until I find a good man with a good job, and then I'll just slowly introduce him to it. And he'll deal with it, and he'll be fine with it because, we'll be married and we'll, have a good life. And did you ever, like, approach it like that? Or think about, like, I can drink again then.
Oh, yeah.
But once, because I want, to get married, I want to do this. But then.
I always, in years and years and years ago, depending on where I was with my addiction at the time, you always have that fairy tale ending where it's going to work out, where you drink like a responsible person. And it's all an equation that you have to figure out.
Yeah.
I'm going to live this place, and I'll be with this person, and I'll have a kid, and I'll have a good job. And these are the things that I'm missing. And that's why I can't keep it together. Yep. That's why I drink so excessively, because I don't have these things. Yeah, well, guess what? You keep drinking like that, you won't get those things ever. And then if you do stop drinking and get those things, and then you pick up again, you'll lose them.
Yeah,
that's really the reality. And it took a lot of times of that happening for me to kind of have it just hit me in the face and be like, "Wake up, Marnie! Come on, it ain't gonna happen that way."
Because it's not. And you think, though, that, well, once I have the perfect man, and then the bills aren't going to be, piling up, and once I have a kid, that's going to take so much time and effort, and yeah, I'll have my wine in the evening when he gets home, and he can watch the kid then or whatever. And, I can just have a couple glasses of wine and I'll be fine, like an adult, like everybody else. And, then the kid will go to school and, but you still have it worked out to where you're this perfect person who doesn't have a drinking problem, who doesn't drink like we do. And that's not going to happen. It's very unrealistic to even think that could happen. I used to tell myself too, I'll quit drinking when I get married and have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could never get married because the women wouldn't stick around long enough. Like they thought,
right.
Well, I could change them. I don't know why women think they can change. Well, you can't change anybody. And they'd stick around for a minute and be like, this guy is not, can't deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and how are you going to attract a healthy and this whatever you're looking for, this man that has it all together who's not an alcoholic or not an addict? Where are you going to find him? Because you're busy getting smashed in your room, or you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, chances are, this is a real thing too, is that you're not going to find someone who's good for you and that wants to see you put down the drink if you're hanging around everybody else that's doing the same thing, and is an active addiction. It was, I write about that too in my blog. It's not like it is. There's a lack of options because you're limited to healthy people when you only surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, and you got to get out of that. You have to get out of that environment. There's so much. Everything has to change. Everything has to change.
Well, I mean, not everything.
I'm just the
sexual relationship.
majority of that has to change.
Men, nothing against that. I'm just not changing that part, which was funny because when I went to figure out where I was going after treatment, there was a couple sober living places, and I had it all set in my mind. I was going to Traverse City. I wasn't sticking around Boyne Falls or whatever, Boyne City. I wasn't doing that. Because that's where everybody else is going. I'm not doing that. I'm going to Traverse City. And then I had an interview with this guy, and he was like, well, what skills do you have? Where are you going to work? I don't know. I was in radio for 20 years, but I can't work in any radio stations around here. I was like, they're pretty bad. They're horrible. And that will drive me crazy, and that will lead me to unhappy places. It's okay, well, what else? Well, I did tool and die for about a year and a half. Built trim dies as an apprentice. Oh, we got an industrial shop over here. Perfect. I'll go there. What if you can't get in there? I don't know, man. Well, are you above flipping burgers? What do you mean? Well, you work at McDonald's? I mean, I probably wouldn't apply there. I mean, there's other things that I could probably do. But I mean, if that was your only job, would you do it? I was like, wait, well, no. Hold on. What are you trying to say? Like, as opposed to like sleeping under a bridge or something? Then clearly, yes. I would rather work at McDonald's than live outside under a bridge. Got to be willing to do anything, man. And I was like, well, and I don't know how my mind just goes to different places. And he's like, got to be willing to do anything, man. And I was like, well, let me stop you right there, man. There's a lot of things I'm not going to do. I am not going to kill my cat. I am not going to push my mom off a bridge. I mean, and I just started listing stuff like that, and he's like, well, then, I don't think this is the place for you. And I was like, yeah, I thought that about 5 minutes ago, but you have a great day, buddy.
Oh, my God.
Because there's a lot of things I'm not going to, and I threw in there about a sexual reference that I wasn't going to do. Mm-hmm. It's just anything. I mean, I get what he was saying, but like, I don't know.
That's just a figure of speech, Corey.
Was it? No, I don't. I mean, he might have been hitting on me.
Maybe.
You never know. Thank God I'll never know.
Well, everything happened the way it should have.
Yeah. Gotta be willing to do anything, Marnie.
Oh, God.
Anything.
Sexual
relationship. Anything. I'm going to keep reminding you of that through the night. So, yeah, Marnie, did you do anything today for recovery? Anything?
I did a lot. I went to work. You know, I'm blessed with an awesome job that, you know, I work with other people that are getting their, you know, feet back on the ground. And, yeah, there's one of the people that I work with was struggling some. And, you know, slipped a little bit and, you know, trying to get back on track. So that's what it's all about. And he's doing really good and realized it's like, this is hard. I'm like, psh, it is, you know. And I was thinking about it because I'm thinking if there was ever a time to say this, it's now. It's like, you know, one thing about being in recovery is, you know, you get to feel again. But another thing about being in recovery is you get to feel again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, everything's real and, you know, it's not clouded over by drugs and alcohol, you know, and there's a lot you got to kind of pick apart to put it back together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's just a lot of work, but it's worth it, man. It's totally worth it. I
liked feeling again. I had a guy tell me that the other day. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't tell me that. He was saying what you were saying about, oh, man, this sucks. I have all these feelings. I feel again. I was like, yeah, that's good. And, you know, you're going to. And he was going through it and asked him how he was doing. He said, I don't remember what he said, something about, I don't know, it was one of those things where it just kind of floats in the air. And then I was like, well, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Like emotionally, mentally, physically, like what's going on? He's like, all of it. And that's when he was like, I'm feeling again. It sucks. Flip that shit, man. Feeling's good.
Yeah, it is.
Not every feeling is going to be great, but at least you can feel again and you can process them.
Yeah, make sense
with a sober
of things.
Mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's kind of a big deal. But I was going to mention, you were talking about the guy who said it was hard and, you know, had a slip or whatever. I think a lot of times people don't realize how much opportunities out there for them. Like, say, for instance, the guy or a woman is like, I don't have anything to do. I'm so bored, and that's why I'm just going to go drink.
My gosh. I hear that all the time.
Well, have you called the food bank to see if you could help them stock supplies, get them ready? Have you called? I mean, there's so many things that you can do and donate your time if you're just not doing anything. And I used to volunteer at the food bank, and man, they would hook us up. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what community you live in. Like, when I lived in Buchanan, I would go to the food bank to get food, and I'd get some good stuff, but nothing like up in Traverse City or Boyne City or Petoskey or Harbor Springs. Oh, you get that name brand stuff. Mm-hmm. It's good. And like, they'll hook you up and they're like, what you need? You want a box of cookies? You want this, that? Yeah, a box of cookies, like a box of just cookies. It was wonderful. And when I was managing the house in Boyne City, I would always take the guys. You know, and that was kind of my way of giving back, was to, you know, give them a ride because they didn't have vehicles. So it's kind of hard to, well, I mean, it can be done, but, you know, to walk back with big old boxes of food from the food pantry. But, you know, volunteer there, man. They need people. Mm-hmm. Goodwill. I mean, just call around and talk to your church. You know, if you don't have a church, well, call one up. Say, hey, I'm looking to volunteer. I need something to do. And they will be so amazed by how good they feel and getting out of the house and networking with good people, you know, who are helping other people as well. And it just snowballs. Yeah. It really does. And, you know, that would be my suggestion to them if they're so bored. I have nothing to do. I'm going to drink because it's bored.
Yeah. Isolation and getting stagnant, where you don't move forward. You always have to try to move forward. You know, even if it's just a little bit. and develop a routine that's healthy. You know?
Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people listen to this podcast when they're going to bed.